So I'm Shohei Informative, and today I'll be talking about the differences between Japanese McDonald's franchise and American McDonald's franchise. There are many differences between McDonald's franchise in these two countries that'll get you surprised. So when I went to Japan, the McDonald's menu and quantity was very different compared to the one in the States. So today I want to compare for you the difference between Japanese McDonald's franchise and American McDonald's franchise. So whenever we go to McDonald's, we usually order, number one combo, number two combo, but sometimes we want to order something else. So first, I want to compare the menu between Japanese McDonald's and American McDonald's. Japan has a special limited time menu, like teriyaki mac tomato, double mac, like these right here. And according to Peter V from Deliciously.com, McDonald's in America have average hamburgers like Big Mac, cheeseburgers, etc. Japanese McDonald's has the same kind of menu, but they also have like other exotic foods available. Foods like Mega Mac, bacon lettuce burger, ebi fileo, etc. So when I went to Japan, I had a chance to try one of the unique menus. I tried the spicy chicken nuggets with spicy sauce. This was available only during the summer of this year. So when you guys go to Japan, you should try the limited time menu as soon as possible because time goes by fast. The menu that I tried was like, let me see, like spicy chicken from Wingstop. It was really good. And in American McDonald's, there are limited menus like McWraps and chicken tenders. But American McDonald's have more fried chicken and wraps like chicken, crispy chicken and McWraps. But Japanese McDonald's have different kind of special menus. Instead of fried chicken, they have like fish burgers, shrimp burgers, etc. And special menus in Japan has more like spicy stuff compared to American McDonald's menu, like the spicy chicken, spicy burger, spicy chicken burger, etc. Japanese McDonald's are very unique French fries that was only available in Japan for the limited time. This one. So, according to TheGuardian.com, Japanese McDonald's sold French fries covered in chocolate. Unfortunately, I did not have the chance to try this, but according to Guardian.com, it's not going to come out again because it wasn't that popular. Next, I want to compare the quantity between Japanese McDonald's and American McDonald's. So, according to Deliciously.com, the quantity of beverage between Japanese and American McDonald's are very different. So, large drink in Japan is 181 calories, and large drink in American McDonald's is 310 calories. Very big difference here. And another example is that a small drink in Japan, Japanese McDonald's, is smaller than a kids meal drink in America. So, in Japanese McDonald's, there are no refills. If a customer wants to refill, they have to buy another drink. In American McDonald's, you can refill your drink anytime you want, as long as you're the customer. Also, the food in McDonald's between these two countries are very different. The fries is different, quantity of fries is different, and the size of the burger is different. And finally, I want to compare the meal time between Japanese and American McDonald's. People spend time very differently at these two McDonald's. When I went to Japan, people spend more time in McDonald's. They eat, finish their food, and hang out for another hour. But here, people just eat, finish their food, and just go home. And this was about the difference between Japanese McDonald's and American McDonald's. In conclusion, having a unique menu like fries covered in chocolate will get people interested in eating McDonald's in Japan. The quantity of food and beverage was very different between these two McDonald's. A small drink in Japanese McDonald's is smaller than a kids meal drink here in America. Finally, people spend time in these two McDonald's differently. hope this made, I hope you know the difference between these two McDonald's. Thank you.
So Juan, what did you think?
It was kind of lacking. It showed that he wasn't really organized. He had a good topic. I like the differences between the two McDonald's. Just the visuals were, I think he needed to format that a bit different, but he made a good obvious reference to like the size in the US compared to the size in Japan, and also how we treat fast food restaurants here compared to other countries. And the menus are very interesting. He did have some sources, and I think that was pretty good to have sources there. But yeah, other than that, just organization was just lacking.
All right, well, I think you picked out a couple of things that I would want to pick out also. Let's start with the visuals. We'll kind of drop down into the middle of the speech. Yeah, the formatting is a little bit awkward. You're using it in a document form, and basically you've just got a bunch of pictures dropped into a document, and you're going to be scrolling through the document. But of course, it's hard to scroll through the document while you're speaking, and I think we missed three or four things that you probably were planning on showing us, because you just had to scroll down to the next thing that you were talking about at that particular point. That's why you want to use a slide presentation to do those kinds of things, or even if you just did one photograph at a time. So the formatting choice there was probably problematic for you. I did think, for instance, the image on the size of the drinks was very clear. That I appreciated. That does communicate some information about how the menus are different, how the culture is a little bit different, what our expectations are, and I thought that was effective. I like the images that you had of the other menu items. I think that if they weren't crowded together and we were looking at them individually, they'd have more impact on the audience. They'd be more memorable and more interesting. As it is, you've got like 3 things up there right at the beginning, and we're already looking at them and thinking about them before you ever get to them, and by the time you get to them, we're bored with them and ready for the next thing. So that's one of those things that I think you want to reveal at the time you're talking about it as best you can, so that your audience isn't running ahead of you. I did hear some source citations early on in the speech. There wasn't any information in that third category. I know that you felt like you needed a third category. If you didn't have any information on it, I'd have just gotten rid of that third category and not spent time on it. That was an observation that you had, and that's all it was. And it's okay to make the observation, but don't try to organize it into your speech if you don't have any content with it. You might simply say, there are a lot of other things that I noticed when I was there too. It seems strange to me that people would linger in the McDonald's. Here when I drive through the McDonald's, you just pick up your food and go. But there I noticed that people gathered, and it was a meeting place for them. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And that's about as much as it is, as opposed to making it its own separate point, which you don't really have any content on if you didn't do any research on it. The variety of spicy items, for instance, and maybe I was kind of thinking that you'd have a picture of the menu in Japan about what the menu items look like. Here you go to McDonald's, and I'm going into the McDonald's, and I see there's a picture, there's a list, there are the prices, I can see all those kinds of things, and I'm thinking I should see the Japanese version of it. Even though I might not be able to read the Japanese, I could see the pictures and see that there are differences, although maybe they have English versions of those things in the McDonald's in Japan also. But that's not something I know, because there's no image like that. It's just of the food product. Something extra like that I think might have made it a little bit more intriguing also. Okay. Now, the stuff at the beginning, I know that we talked about doing attention devices, folks. So this is, I don't want to, I guess I do want to yell, because this happened earlier in my class, my other class as well. We have people who are starting with their topic. The first words out of their mouth are, so, hi, I'm so-and-so, and I'm going to talk about this. I'm going, well, that's not the first thing that's supposed to be out of your mouth. The first thing that's out of your mouth is the attention device. Here's the story, here's the anecdote, here's the joke, here's the example, here's the dramatic statistic, here's the fun fact, here's the hook that's going to pull people in. No, I don't get that. I get a little bit of that after you've introduced the topic twice, which I think is problematic. And I'm mentioning it to you. This is for everybody, not just for you. All right, and it just sounds like it's all about you because I'm talking to you right now. Sorry about that. But everybody needs to be kind of paying attention to that. The start of the speech is that attention device. It's the, so you want to be standing up, tell your story. That's perfectly fine. I went to Japan 2 years ago and I decided I'd stop in for lunch, and I went into a McDonald's, and boy was I surprised because the stuff on the menu wasn't anything like I find here. Here you get that #1 value meal, and it's the Big Mac and the fries and a Coke. The #1 value meal in Japan, it was like a sushi burger with, French fried squid rings or something like that. I couldn't figure out what the hell was going on here. I was really surprised at that. And suddenly dawned on me, you know what? People in Japan probably eat different kinds of foods on a more regular basis than we do here. So I decided that today that I would talk about the menu items and the differences between them in Japan and the United States. And so to do that, I'm going to share with you some of the unique items that are presented on the menu in Japan that we don't have here, and some other differences that are also important, including the sizes of the food that they have and the way people behave when they go to McDonald's. That's what your introduction should sound like. Not, hi, my name is Bob, and my topic is this, and here's my thesis statement about my topic, this, and I went to Japan a couple of years ago, and this. I don't know how else to explain it. And I feel a little bit like I've been ignored, and I don't like that. Stop ignoring me. Listen to me. Do what I tell you to do. It's probably just the same. Your parents probably sound the same. Sorry. All right. Thank